Hello. Greetings, friends. It's Josh.
And I'm Ryan.
This is Daniel.
And we are here today for another exciting and great episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast. I'm happy to be here. Ryan's happy to be here. And
Yep.
Daniel is here too. So
I am here.
probably happy as well. I don't know. I'm comfortable speaking for Ryan, but I'm not quite there with Daniel yet.
That's all right.
So it's the Friday after Christmas. So
Yay,
Merry Christmas to
Christmas.
everyone. Belated. Hopefully your Christmases were wonderful. We don't know how our Christmases were because we're recording this before.
Although I'm not going to say it on air. I'll tell you off air, but I do know what one of my gifts is. So,
Oh, nice.
yay.
Of course you do.
Video games.
Video games are awesome. So, but we are in the Christmas season, Advent, and whatever,
Yay.
holy days, which is wonderful. I was getting my Christmas tree down about a couple weeks ago, obviously before Christmas, because that's what you do. You set the Christmas tree up, and it was something like 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that, and. We bought a new Christmas tree last year, and it is in a giant box, and it is freaking heavy.
Yes.
Like, it is the heaviest thing in the freaking world as far as Christmas trees are concerned. I don't understand why, and the box is completely unwieldy, and just a complete disaster. So I had it put up on a shelf in the garage, and so I had to pull all the ornaments out of the way to get to the thing. I get it down off of the shelf, very precariously. Get it out into the garage, and I stand it up, and I'm trying to get it so that it has those handles like in the box where it has the holes in the box where the handles kind of hold.
Yep. The handles that always rip.
Yeah.
Those exact handles.
Yeah. So as I'm trying to get the handles to line up in the holes so I can grip it better, and as I'm doing that, I lose my grip on it, and it tilts forward. Now, again, I will remind you, this was 1-ish in the morning that I'm trying to do this, and I'm in my socks. And
Yes.
so as this thing is falling forward, it lands on my toe.
Boom.
No.
It was one of the most painful, excruciating things, that you could possibly imagine, as far as, things that happen at 1 o'clock in the morning that, are relatively tame. Fortunately, no permanent damage, but... But I was there were some exclamations that came out that I'm not necessarily proud of. And that hurt a lot, and I'm just really grateful I didn't wake anyone up.
That's amazing, actually.
That's impressive.
I'm amazed.
That is impressive.
Because our garage is right below my daughter's room. So, but yeah, and then, and then I came upstairs, and after I managed to get the tree upstairs, I got it up, went and got in bed, and Em wakes up and she goes, where's our son? Because she was expecting him to be in bed with her, and he wasn't yet. And I was like, he's in his room, I guess. But I guess she was half asleep. But yeah, it was an interesting evening anyway. So, but the tree did get decorated. It got up, and it looks nice.
I was going to ask, did the tree ultimately get put up?
It got put up. The reason I was getting it out was because Em had a day off the next day. So I was like, I know she wants to get this up and get it done. So I got it out so that she could do that. So anyway, that's my Christmas decorating story. I actually hate Christmas decorations.
Wrong.
Not because I don't like the decorations. I just hate doing anything with them. I hate putting them up.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because if you put them up, you have to.
That also means
take
you have
them
to
down.
get them down later. Yes.
That's your opinion.
Well,
That's
what is your
That is
opinion,
true.
Daniel?
It's
There's
not
no
an
law.
opinion. The fact of it is, in my house, the decorations stay there till Valentine's Day.
Which is often the case that happens with many people, but I can't do that. I have the tree goes where something else is supposed to be.
No, it gets worse than that, because not only does it stay up till Valentine's Day, it also went up Probably November 1st.
Nice. So you're one of those people.
I am one of those people. That's like a solid 4 months.
Yeah, no, look.
3.5?
Christmas decorations don't go up until after Thanksgiving.
So that's at our house. It's very almost rigid. We have Christmas decorations go up on the Friday after Thanksgiving. So while everyone else is out Black Friday shopping,
You're staying safe.
We're staying home and decorating
With
for
the
Christmas.
toe box.
And then we take them down on Epiphany Day. So January 7th, 6th, something like that. Yeah. So that's our decorating calendar.
Add skills.
So for everyone keeping track at home, everyone's decorations are still up even though Christmas is over.
Correct.
So.
Yes.
All right. Well, so I feel like we've got a lot to talk about today. There's a lot that's happened since our last episode, and we've got some announcements, I think, for the coming. Because this is our last episode of season 2, so we made it through a second season, which is phenomenal.
It's pretty impressive.
It is impressive. Not many podcasts make it this long.
I was getting ready to say that.
So our next episode will be the first one of season 3, and that's exciting. And we'll, like I said, we'll make some announcements about how we'll be moving forward. So, and that's going to be good stuff. So
good times ahead.
Yeah, for sure. But any other fun stories or anything that we've got going on, gentlemen? Ryan, you mentioned you had something you wanted to talk about.
I do, but now that you've told me one of the things you want to cover, I'm pretty sure it will get covered in that. So yeah.
Good deal. Good deal. Okay, Daniel, anything until we launch into some of these more video game related issues?
Man, I'm just thinking of all the weird stuff my kids have done this month.
Weird kid stuff is normal and good here. You are in a safe
That's a staple
space.
of this show, actually. Kids are weird. That is a highlight of this show.
Highlight of the show for sure.
No, I guess I'll share something that happened fairly recently. So we were at a work party playing some games, and one of my sons had watched the game that we were playing for about 3 rounds of it, decided that he wanted to do one of the roles. The game in question was
keep talking and nobody explodes.
Keep talking and no one explodes. So,
yes, good one.
Which we've talked about on this podcast before.
Yep,
it's a great game.
Lots of fun, lots of problem solving. Not something I expected someone his age to be interested in, but he was very determined he was going to sit in the hot seat and push buttons while everyone else explained what to do. And I'll be darned, he did it.
Nice.
He solved it quicker than anyone else. I think at the time that he sat down and did it, of course, now granted, it was a situation in which everyone was kind of getting used to the game, everyone but me. And he, sat down, heard, told everyone what he saw and solved it quicker than anyone else that had done it thus far. So it was very cool.
Yeah, that was probably the wildest thing that happened in the last month. It did a lot of other weird things, but that's kids are weird.
Kids are weird, and sometimes they do amazing things. So excellent. So I want to start off. I've been seeing these advertisements for a new game that is out, and I've seen a lot of ads for it. It's been everywhere.
There we go.
And it is. Everyone knows the James Cameron movie Avatar, right?
Yes.
We're all familiar with that movie.
Vaguely familiar. Heard of it.
They made a video game.
I saw that.
And it looks just absolutely awful.
I saw that too.
And I'm just sitting who wants that?
So I'll be honest. There was a genre of games like this, I don't know, late 2000s, early 2010s, where they'd a dramatic movie would come out and they'd just make a video game for it, and it would be garbage.
It was bad every time.
Unfortunately, Chronicles of Narnia is the one that's coming to mind right now. The Chronicles of Narnia game was just not good.
Yeah, no,
the only reason they made it is to squeeze more out of the ticket sales.
Yep.
And the Willy Wonka game, exact same. It's like they're carbon copies too, because like the mechanics of those games are identical.
Yeah, it's all the same.
But I feel like so most of the time when you have the game like that that's based off of a movie, it's like oh here's the movie in video game form.
So
right?
So it's like a 3D visual novel.
Yeah, but like
Nobody wants that.
this was a completely separate story, and it's like it just looks like absolute trash, and the story does not like it. I don't know. I just want to know like who is asking for this game. Like I'm not a huge fan of the movie itself. I'm very shocked and surprised that like 15 years later they're coming out and going, hey, we're coming out with 2 more of these.
All right, let it be known, Josh does not like Space Pocahontas.
Space Fern Gully. It's it's both of them.
Hey, the Fern Gully has some nostalgia armor here.
Well, right, but that's what it is, right?
Yeah,
it's Fern Gully and Pocahontas, and it's in space. It's a terrible movie. It's a terrible concept, and they made a game in which they, I don't know. I saw the advertisements for it, and I keep seeing the advertisements for it. I'm just going, I'm not interested at all. And they're pushing it so freaking hard.
In case any of our listeners were wondering, no one else in the vicinity has gotten these ads. These are targeted ads.
Well, Ryan said he saw the ads.
I have seen the ad once or twice. It's not like a repeat thing like you're describing, though.
Well, I'm watching more football than you then. I don't know.
Is that where you're seeing it?
Yes.
Weird.
Yeah. What?
Don't ask me.
Because that's not where I saw it. So
it's not the demographic that I feel like that would be for either. So
yes, football watchers will also want to play this Avatar game.
So if any of the producers for this Avatar game are looking for new marketing direction, sponsor us.
Yes.
We've got some ideas about where you might be able to get some better grasp on people. I don't know. But anyway, that was one thing I wanted to talk about. The other thing, one of the other big things, we've come through the Video Game Awards. We talked about this last time.
Yep.
About the Video Game Awards and how the nominations and a little bit like that. So Baldur's Gate 3,
Boo.
Game of the Year.
Surprising no one?
Well. Apparently disappointing Ryan.
I'll get there. I'll get to it.
Okay.
Not disappointing, but I'll let you finish your thought.
Okay. So Baldur's Gate 3 wins Game of the Year. Matt, our esteemed colleague, I'm sure would probably agree with that. But one of the things that my wife stumbled across, she is a fan of Matt Pat and Game Theory. If you all are familiar with that channel at all. That is something that I really appreciate. I like his kind of in-depth dive into things. He did a video on the Video Game Awards and how the whole thing is set up. And one of the things that he kind of pointed out, he did the video is like how to win at the Video Game Awards, like how to win Game of the Year at the Video Game Awards.
Pay attention, Mario Wonder.
Right. But one of the things that he pointed out was almost every single one of the things, and we pointed this out on our last episode. Every single one of them was was either a direct sequel or part of a larger franchise. There wasn't anything new and original in there.
Yep.
And so he kind of got into it a little bit. And I don't want to spoil the whole video because he if you know anything about Matt Pat and Game Theory. He just has a lot of fun with his videos, and they're great. So stuff Josh likes, Game Theory.
Game Theory.
Look it up. Anyway, one of the things that he kind of talked about at the end was this thing of why are these games always the ones that kind of come up over and over again? Because this is a common theme that he kind of pulls out all of the common themes that are, a franchise that is already an established franchise. That's the word I was looking for. Is kind of one of the things that he kind of points out is that's something that's going to get you a little bit of credit, for Game of the Year. One of the things he pointed out is that most of the people who are responsible for determining the Game of the Year are people who basically grew up playing these games, playing video games,
Right.
and like they got into journalism and they wanted to be video game journalists, and and so they're all like, now they're older, and that like they all like those games because they call back that nostalgia. They call back, and it's exactly what we talk about here. And so I just thought that was really interesting. So I highly recommend watching that that video. It was a great kind of great insight. But Ryan, you had something that you wanted to share, I think, about the VGAs.
I'm not disappointed, because if I personally had a vote, or if someone asked me, Baldur's Gate 3 would have been second place for me. But that being said, I haven't personally played it. I've watched other people play it. I've watched streams. I've watched my father-in-law play it. So take that with a grain of salt. I just personally think it should have gone to Tears of the Kingdom. That would have been my vote. I have my own reasons for that. I think Tears of the Kingdom was so innovative with some of the stuff and some of the mechanics that it did. And I just think that would have been my game of the year. And I kind of feel like Baldur's Gate almost stole it by coming in at the end and being like, recency bias is a thing.
Yeah.
You know, right? So like, we all forgot about Tears of the Kingdom because now we're playing this new cool shiny toy, and that's just my thoughts on it.
Sure. And interesting you bring that up, because MatPat actually does talk about that in his video. And how most of the time games that win Game of the Year are actually spring releases.
Interesting.
Because and again, this kind of goes back to our podcast here and how we kind of, this whole thing came to be, in that like, you don't have time to, like, if you're one of those, you know, reviewers, you don't have time to like sit down and just play through a game and like just, you know, indulge in it for, you know, a week. Like, you need something that's going to be longer, that you can kind of take your time with and progress through. And so games that are quick and, you know, first-person shooters often don't win Game of the Year, because like our multiplayer games don't ever win Game of the Year because it's not fun. Like, I need something that I can play single player, that I'm going to, you know, have that time to invest into it. And so that's an interesting point. That like, because most of the time it's the games that came out earlier than the ones that came out more recently, because you just haven't had time to dive into them,
get into
as much by the time the VGAs come around.
The buzz around Baldur's Gate 3 was something else. So like, as far as recency bias goes, like, it makes sense that like you would encounter this, be excited. I mean, the whole Baldur's Gate franchise is pretty groundbreaking to take a tabletop and stick it on your screen. So it makes sense. I'll be honest, I knew Tears of the Kingdom was on the list, but my brain keeps telling me that it was released in a time frame like oh shoot, that's it. Breath of the Wild. Like I'm thinking, this game's 3 years old.
It does feel like forever ago.
It feels like it was so long ago that, like, I think that's part of what happened. And I mean, I want to be clear. Again, I don't have a vote, but if I had a vote, it would be like 1 and 1A for me. I'm by no means putting down Baldur's Gate. It looks phenomenal. I've mentioned multiple times that I really, really, really can't wait to get my hands on it. So, like, by no means am I putting it down. My vote would have gone to Tears of the Kingdom.
Understandably. I would agree that I think Tears of the Kingdom should have won, but that, I mean, obviously.
But Josh has no biases.
I'm not a, you know, I've never played a single Baldur's Gate game, and I don't think it'd be something I'd enjoy, so.
We'll get you there one day.
Someday.
Maybe
we will
someday.
get you there. What we're going to do is eventually we're just going to pack this show with so many people that enjoy role-playing games and turn-based games that Josh is just going to have no choice but to try one or play one finally.
Well, it's not that I've never played one. It's just I don't like them when I play them.
You have to like what I like.
Yeah, I thought that's how that went.
Isn't that the whole point of video games? Is that you like what I like?
Yeah, you know, I guess. So yeah, and did you have something else that was related
So
to that as
kinda
well?
yeah. So my question that I was gonna to open a discussion was gonna be, what would your game of the year be? And it was a 2-part question.
Gotcha.
What would your game of the year be, and what game if it's different, what game did you have the most fun playing this year?
Oof.
So
Yeesh.
that could be the same or it could be different.
Yeah, sure. Daniel, do you have any thoughts on that? Like,
So, I'll be honest. I need to spend more time with Tears of the Kingdom. We got a little sidetracked because little gremlins decided to invade my single player game with their experience, which was great.
yeah, no, that's good.
Playing Zelda, playing other single player games with the boys is like so much fun. But obviously that's going to be a slower pace. Obviously progression is not the point of that. We had a lot of fun this year with Cuphead. That's not a 2023 release, but it was new to us in 2023.
For
Yep.
sure.
And I'm terrible at run and gun platform combat games, and now that the boys have beaten this game, I'm still bad at it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
man, we had a blast.
and you were telling me that they 100%ed that thing.
I won't be that ambitious. They're
Or
86%.
86%.
Which still that's like I
impressive.
don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean I see all these people on Reddit and stuff. They're hitting 300%. I guess that's like S ranking all the fights plus the downloadable content. I don't know.
That's crazy. That game is impossibly hard.
It is brutal. It reminds me a lot of the Mega Man platform games, like just brutally difficult for the point of being brutally difficult. Like that's the point of the game. Fun though, so much fun.
Yeah. Geez, my game of the year is decidedly Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The game that I had the most fun playing. Yeesh, man. See, here's the thing. Like, I've had so much nostalgia this year. Like, it's not even funny. I did have a ton of fun playing Tears of the Kingdom. Like, Tears of the King. Like, I was up until 2 a.m. multiple nights. For weeks. If you all will recall.
What?
I
would never do such a thing.
I had a full-time job playing Tears of the Kingdom for about 3 weeks. So I definitely had a lot of fun playing Tears of the Kingdom. But I don't see, that's such a hard question for me. One, because it requires me to remember the games that I've played this year.
It does.
Relatable.
It does.
But the one that comes to mind is Metroid Prime. The remaster of Metroid Prime, which
Interesting.
we talked about here a couple times.
Yeah.
And I had a ton of fun with that. More recently, another game that is a big nostalgia factor. I went to GameStop on December 1st.
Woo!
On my lunch break, and they had my copy of the
What?
Arkham trilogy there ready for me to pick up. So
Look at that.
So GameStop came through for me
In a Christmas miracle.
in a Christmas miracle. So I've been playing through Arkham Asylum and
Nice.
have actually beat it already. So I guess I'll just kind of launch into that for right now, and we can circle back to anything else if that's cool with you guys. Is that good?
Yeah.
I guess, Ryan, you haven't really said your...
Oh, well, obviously, my game of the year would be Tears of the Kingdom. Interesting that you said Metroid Prime, because I think the game that I had the most fun with, even though it's not a 2023 release, was Metroid Dread.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun playing that.
Was that
game.
this year that you played that?
Yeah. Yeah, I borrowed that and the one you mentioned this year.
I thought you played Dread last year, but maybe I'm losing my mind. Maybe
I
it was this
did.
year. I don't know.
There was a chunk of time where I played several Metroid games
Yes.
before Tears of the Kingdom came out, and the whole point
Yes.
was like I was powering through them.
Yes.
Because I had never
Okay.
played them before.
Yeah, no, I do recall this.
So I'll just say, generally speaking, I had fun playing Metroid this year. Cause
Dread was a lot of fun. Like we talked about that. We could talk about that game probably forever. But it's challenging. But it's a good story, and it's not so impossibly hard. Well, it is impossibly hard.
Yes, it is.
Um,
So part of why I had fun with it is because like I text you multiple times and said, I hate this game, I quit. If I don't put the controller down right now, I'm gonna break it, and then 5 minutes later I'm playing again. It's like,
Yeah.
So I obviously couldn't step away from it.
yeah, no,
Just
it's a
lot of
great
fun.
game. Great game. So anyway, Arkham Asylum on the Switch. It's a lot quicker than, I'm basically, I 100%ed the story. I haven't 100%ed the game because you have to play through, like, different things, but, like, got all the collectibles and, did it within basically a week.
There you go.
Respectable.
And
Wait, did you beat the game?
I did beat a game.
Whoa!
Josh beat a game.
Josh beat a game. Get the confetti. Someone pop some popcorn. But it's just one of those games, and it's in my top 5 for a reason. Obviously, I loved it. It's a lot of fun. I recommend anyone, if you haven't played any of the Arkham games,
It's a great game.
like, you're missing out on so much greatness. And then I have started into Arkham City, and it just kind of the contrast of playing them kind of back to back. They did so much more in Arkham City. It was really what I think they wanted to do in Arkham Asylum, but they just weren't able to.
Yeah.
So again, like, obviously it's in my top 5. So I love the game. It's amazing. Play it. If you have a Switch and you've never played it, like, this is definitely the time to, like, get in and get it and play it. One thing that I had an issue with, that when I first got the game, there were some lag and latency issues from like load, like, as you're like trying to play, it's like loading and having, like, the Switch's hardware is having a hard time with the game and making the game like
keeping
up with the game.
Okay.
And that was really frustrating at first. Now, they did do a system update since I got the game, and I feel like that may have corrected
better
the issue. I don't feel like I'm running in. I haven't run into that at all in Arkham City, which is massively bigger than Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Like, massively bigger. So, but yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Like, there's so much about it. Like, I don't know. I could say so much about it.
No, I mean, I'm right there with you. Asylum's a great game. I've mentioned before I played through that one. I started City and didn't get very far, and that's as far as I've gotten in the series. But
well, Arkham City is just so, like, when you're going from Asylum to City, like, City is just so much more massive. Like, there's so much more to do, which, again, is why I think, like, it's what they really wanted Arkham Asylum to be. They just couldn't do it at the time.
Yeah.
But, and again, like, it's one of those things that the fact that the game has held up so long at this point, and it's still like, yeah, I can pick that up and replay it right now.
Now, am I remembering correctly that the Spider-Man game on PS4 borrowed heavily from...
Yes, the combat style in Spider-Man is very similar.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
To the combat style in the Arkham games, which is why the Spider-Man game
also
is actually
a ton of fun.
So much fun. I think because they did such a good job of kind of adapting that.
Yeah.
So
that makes a lot of sense, actually. I did just get in from our research department. Is it true that Mark Hamill reprised his role as the Joker?
Yeah, it's Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy, which that's another thing at the end, like when the credits roll, they did do a in memory of Kevin Conroy, which is very classy, because he is the voice, he is the voice of Batman.
Yeah,
like it's just him. But yes, so he was Batman in all of those games. Mark Hamill did the Joker in 3 of them. In the one that isn't in this collection, Arkham Origins, which everyone hates for some reason. I've only played through it once, so I don't have any, I don't remember not liking it. I don't remember thinking it was weird, but I don't remember thinking it was bad in any way, shape, or form. But a lot of people don't like that one. I need to replay it, I guess. But he was not the Joker. Mark Hamill was not the Joker in that one. So,
it blows my mind every time I find like a voice credit that he has, because he's done everything.
He has done a lot of voice acting. He's a great, just all around very talented individual when it comes to that kind of stuff. So, so yeah, if you haven't, obviously, if you're thinking about Arkham Asylum, and getting it, or the Arkham games, Arkham Asylum is a little bit more tame than Arkham City and Arkham Knight. So be careful playing it around your kids. There's some language in both games. Obviously, there's lots of violence, and the thing is, it's not bloody violence because it's Batman. He doesn't kill people.
Yep.
But when you're explaining to your 8-year-old that what happened to that guy? Did Batman kill him? It's like, no, he's just knocked out. Batman's just putting him to sleep.
He'll wake up with brain damage later. It's fine.
A really violent
probably
way.
Okay.
So
something I always try to look for when looking at remasters and re-releases and repackages like this is any changes they made in, I guess you call post-production to bring this back to audiences. Without spoiling too much, was there any fiddling done with these games as they were brought to the Switch in the trilogy format?
Not really. Not that I can tell anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, so they added the credit stuff. So which is again great, but as far as the game itself, it is basically a carbon copy, as far as I can tell. The there's not an upscale on, or they might do an upscale on the graphics, but the graphics aren't wildly upgraded from the Xbox 360 versions of the games. Overall, basically the same thing. No real tweaking in this for these particular games. But again, they're pretty they're you could go back and replay them on the original consoles and still feel pretty good about the game itself. Because it's just that good.
How does it play in handheld mode?
That's basically all I've been doing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I have not played it on the TV much. There was one day where I was at home by myself and I was playing it on handheld mode, just because it's how I had it.
Yeah.
And I was like, why am I doing this? What am I can put this on the TV? And I'm just gonna keep it in handheld mode, which is one of the reasons why I really like having the remaster on the Switch, because it does really make that ability to just kind of take it wherever you go.
It's an amazing thing.
So I can play Batman whenever I want to.
Yay!
So yeah, and that's basically my take on what I've played thus far of the Arkham trilogy. Any other questions? Anything else you guys want to bring up about Batman and Arkham?
I don't think so.
Okay. So what's next on our agenda, gentlemen? I've got other things I can talk about, but if you guys have games you want to talk about that you were playing, feel free.
Well, I'll just this thing, like I told you earlier, this thing that I did is not necessarily a review, but more of a cool thing that I did.
Okay.
So I have been playing, sort of replaying, if you will, Don't Starve, the survival game, which I did a review about a long time ago.
Yes, I recall.
So, the basic gist is it's a survival game. The name tells you what to do, don't starve. So you have to manage three things: your hunger, your sanity, and your physical health. So, if monsters attack you, you lose your physical health. So anyway, the cool thing that I did is, for the first time ever, I survived my first winter on Don't Starve. I've never done that before.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well done.
So
applause and
there is no
jubilation.
Beating this game. It just goes on forever.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, this is beating the game, because I survived winter and I hadn't done that before, and so
Yeah. Oh, well, Excellent.
So yeah, so I've been kind of playing that, off and on, and I got past my first winter, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna talk about it. So
Cool.
no, but I'm not gonna re-review it because I already did that.
Yeah, you can go back and listen to that episode.
You can go find that episode.
Somewhere. I don't know. I don't remember what episode that was.
I mean, we're so far into this show now. We're just so massively successful that you'll have to go back and find it.
Impending third season? What?
Yeah, right. Now we did put out 52 episodes in one year.
We did.
Who
does that?
That's something I'm still really proud of.
Only
That.
us.
I'm still really proud of 52 episodes in a year. Granted, we scaled back way, a lot from that, but
it's working so much better.
This is so much better.
It's weird. We actually have time to play video games before we talk about them
Right.
on the video game podcast.
Yeah, isn't there a thing where people watch you play video games because you didn't have time to prepare? It's like Twitch.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that, but then you have to prepare for that too. You have to prepare to play the video game and have a consistent time for that. And who's got time for that?
Both of these sound exhausting.
Yeah, I know. Don't have time for that right now.
Might be a little too on the nose.
We are
now
dead.
I'm tired.
We are dead tired dads, so we do not have time to schedule time
Correct.
to play video games that were for people to watch us.
Correct.
How about you, Daniel? What are you playing?
Oh goodness. Yeah, no, I'm still playing Mega Man Battle Network 4 and that anniversary collection.
Nice. Why not? That's good.
Yeah, it's it really is shameful because there is nothing difficult about those games. Approaching them as an adult who's now played through them double digits amounts of times, but it's nice and relaxing. Oh, the other thing too, they broke that game so bad. It's wonderful. The combat system, you can add in a bunch of very powerful upgrades. So basically, you one-shot all opponents, and have quadruple, sometimes 10 times the amount of health you're supposed to have. Yeah, that's been a very lazy gaming experience, and I've loved it. It's so relaxing.
Hey, that's always fun. It's always fun to have just something that you can kind of sit back and chill. So speaking of remasters, I sent you both a link, a picture anyway. It wasn't a link of a Star Wars remaster.
Look what I have on my phone.
Yeah.
I was hoping we were going to talk about
Yeah,
this.
no. Star Wars remasters coming out. What is it? 7 games?
7 in 1, yeah.
I can't even count
games.
that high.
So you've got KOTORs 1 and 2, Knights
Yes.
of the Old Republic, for those of you who are unschooled. Force Awakens, Jedi Knight Academy 1 and 2, Commander, Republic Commander, and Pod Racer.
Pod Racer, yeah.
Dude, Pod Racer, that takes me back, man.
So I don't know, man. If they keep coming out with these remasters on the Switch, it's all I'm going to be doing is playing remasters forever. And so you guys want to talk about an RPG that I'll play? If you give me KOTOR on the Switch, I will probably play that game.
Such a phenomenal
game. I'll accept that.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
I will
Such a phenomenal game.
That game was great. My one complaint about that game is that it takes way too long to get into the flippin' story. But I'll complain about that more after I've bought that and played it and I review it on here.
Actually, something I'm really interested in finding more information on is we all understand how Star Wars has changed post Disney, new trilogy. We now have the Star Wars Legends as the old extra canon material has now been termed. A lot of these games fill in the Star Wars Legends repertoire. I wonder what Disney's take is on that.
That is an excellent question, but I'm pretty sure that Disney just, when they see Star Wars, all they see is greenbacks.
Look, it's a giant cow filled with money.
I'm pretty sure that no one at Disney, except for there was one person that I think cares about Star Wars as an actual like property and like wants to see it be like amazing. And I think they finally put him in charge of things, but it might be too little, too late. But I'm fairly certain that they don't even care about the canon. I think they just want. I think that they're just hoping that this makes them more money, and it certainly will.
It's going to work.
Yeah.
Every time.
It will. I will give them money.
See,
I was going to say, I can't speak for Daniel, but I can speak for Josh and Ryan, and it's going to at least 2 people sitting here are going to spend money on this game.
No, we can round that out to a solid 3.
2 and even
I
3.
can count that high.
Yeah, and there might even be a 4th person, who is associated with this podcast who might be interested in that. I don't know if our colleague Matt is free to spend money on such things, and if he is going to. But
well, we just told him that there's 3 people he could borrow it from.
That's true.
So.
Very true. Very true. And then we'll just stick on the. I guess we'll just stick on the subject of like remasters and like fun old stuff coming back. So there was an article that I came across a couple weeks ago that was from Sega announcing not new properties, but new games from some of their older properties.
I saw that.
And I got super excited.
There's some exciting stuff
I'm just going to read off these games, and we'll talk about it.
And for everyone wondering, yes, Sega owns more than Sonic the Hedgehog.
What?
Yeah, right.
What?
But that's the thing, like, they've been just, like, pounding away at Sonic for so many years, and that's the only thing that they've done anything with. And now that I think what happened is they finally like started making money with Sonic. Like
the movies started making some money.
The movies made them some money, and then
some money on those movies.
And then like some of the games actually started to be okay. At least from the reviews that I've read, I haven't played any of these Sonic games because like I've been sorely everything just looks really bad.
You only have a broken heart so many times.
So I haven't bought anything. So here are the games that they're talking about kind of renewing. Crazy Taxi.
Yes.
Golden Axe. Jet Set Radio. Shinobi. And Streets of Rage.
Yes.
Like,
what in the deja vu is happening?
We talked about Streets of Rage.
We did talk about Streets of Rage. It was Streets of Rage 2, I think.
Yep. It was.
On the Switch Virtual Console.
Yeah.
Because look, like, when Crazy Taxi came out, I remember playing, like, I was terrible at that game. Like, I was absolutely horrible at that game. But I loved playing Crazy Taxi, partially because of the Offspring soundtrack that was in the original. Like, if you have the Dreamcast version, it's literally just all Offspring songs, and it's amazing.
Nice.
Like, I think it's just like I think it's the album that had just come out from them.
They just took the
album and it's on the Crazy Taxi game. But obviously, Streets of Rage, we've talked about before. Jet Set Radio. I got to talk about this one because this is one of those games that like I've played like a couple times and I absolutely love it. It's a ton of fun. But as a retro game collector, I think I talked about this. I've been trying to find a copy of Jet Set Radio on Dreamcast.
Yeah.
And I told the story about how I bought a copy of it for like $50 after I had finally found it. And I get it home and it found out that it was a Japanese version of the game.
Or something,
it was a Japanese version of the game, so it wouldn't play.
Wait. Is this the spray painting game?
Yes, the spray painting game.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, where you've got
I used to play this at my neighbor's house all the time because he had a Dreamcast.
Yes.
This is such a weird, super fun game. I'm now more excited than I was like moments ago.
Yeah, no, like it's an amazing game, so much fun. And it's been languishing. They've had this property. I guarantee you, like it'd be a great platformer, or not platformer, but like a great multiplayer, thing to get onto platforms is what I was trying to say. There was a story to it, so it could be played, single player. I'm just shocked that they haven't done anything with it like since then.
It's gonna be awesome.
I mean, the youth of today just need to know how to vandalize properly.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
So my understanding, I've actually never played it, but my understanding is it almost has like a cult following.
Oh, yeah.
People just
Yeah.
like love this game.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
I didn't even know what it was called, and I have like such strong feelings about this game.
That's awesome.
And so
awesome.
again, like one of those games that I've been wanting to get this game on Dreamcast. I want to have it. I can't find it anywhere because it's
It's coming back.
But now they're making a new one, so I'm excited about that. And again, Crazy Taxi, Golden Axe. I'm not at like it's an RPG as far as I know it. Like
I'm vaguely familiar with it. I've mentioned on the show before I didn't have Sega consoles growing up, so I wasn't exposed to much of them. But I am vaguely familiar with this game. I actually tried to play it on the Virtual Console on my Switch, and it was one of those things where I have no doubt that it's a good game, but it's one of those things where going back in time on the modern console just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
So I kind of put it in my backlog, and I thought I'd get around to it eventually, but I think what I'll do is just play the new one instead.
Yeah, whenever it comes out.
Yeah.
So. I think it ends up like an RPG. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Shinobi, which again is one that I know in the back of my head. I can't put my finger on exactly what that is, but I know that has a big following too for those big Sega fans. So, but yeah, that just got me really excited for Sega to start. Because you said, like, Ryan, you said that you never really had a Sega console growing up. Sega, like, before I was a Nintendo fanboy, I was a Sega fanboy. Like,
don't get it twisted, folks. He's still a Sega fanboy.
Well, I can't be a Sega fanboy anymore and I can't even claim Sega fanboyhoodness because, like, I never really played a ton of games on the Sega. I appreciated what Sega tried to do. And I liked Sonic the Hedgehog more than I liked Mario because Sonic was cooler. But that was Sega's marketing scheme, right?
Yeah.
So like,
right.
So yeah, I do appreciate Sega, but I was never like really invested into Sega like I am now into Nintendo.
Yeah.
So
no, growing up, the place where my brother and I and my sister too went to the dentist, our dentist office had a Sega in it. So, like, while you were waiting for the dentist to call you back, you could play the Sega.
Okay, we've got to pause right
pause.
there. We've got to talk about this. Were the 90s not the peak of American civilization?
It was amazing.
Like,
I believe that's confirmed in the Matrix trilogies.
No greater time.
I mean, come on. Like, video game consoles at the dentist office. Just while you're waiting, you can play video games. Like,
so,
do you guys remember, Daniel, you wouldn't remember this, you're too young. But do you remember the N64 consoles that they had at McDonald's?
What?
I don't remember that, but
they had N64s at McDonald's that you could play. Like, I mean, come on.
Okay, so here's a question then. I truly don't know if this is a local thing. I grew up in Indianapolis. I don't know if it's a local thing or not. Have either of you ever heard of the place called Pizza King?
No.
Okay. Then it was this local thing. I grew up right down the street from this place called Pizza King. There's 3 of them that I'm aware of, or near my hometown, and they had basically they had little booths where you would sit and eat your pizza, and there was these little 13-inch tube TVs on the wall with N64s, and you operated them by putting quarters in, like 4 quarters would get you an hour of Nintendo 64 time while you ate your pizza. It was, again, the peak
come on.
Great times.
Like, amazing. Like, and you won't. There's nothing that will ever be.
No,
you can't go back to that. Like, nothing will ever be that again. It's just crazy.
You mean playing PS5 and Taco Bell is not your jam?
You can't play a PS5 in Taco Bell. What are you talking about? You can win a PS5 from Taco Bell, I don't doubt. But they're not going to have it set up and you want to know why? Because someone would steal it.
Someone would steal it. Actually, funny story. I used to work at one of those Pizza Kings, and a guy that I went to high school with, figured out a way to stick the fork down behind the slot where you put the quarters in. So he would put his 4 quarters in and then immediately take them back out. So yes, someone would steal the PS5 from Taco Bell.
Because, and that's the other thing, like, it's not just because they would want the console, it's because, like, the secondary market for something like that, like, you could make a ton of money, like, just stealing consoles from places.
Right. Just go around selling them.
You know, here it
Money
is.
don't grow on trees till it's growing on your local franchises.
Oh man, but I'm telling you, like we lived in, like, we did not know how amazing the world we lived in was. Like,
it really was.
Absolutely amazing. So
So my exposure to Sega was when we were at the dentist office, if I got a turn, and then we had one family friend that, you know, we might go to their house once a month or once every couple months that had their kids had a Sega Genesis in the basement, so we would occasionally play it. But you know, other than that, like, I just didn't play it much. So
yeah, no, I'm super excited about all of those games making a comeback. Super excited about the Star Wars 7-pack that I think that's out. I'm fairly certain that's out now.
I can't remember. I do know, like you said, we are recording this before Christmas. I do know that if I get a gift card for Christmas, it's going straight to that Star Wars 7-pack.
Right? I mean, why wouldn't it, right? I mean, jeez. Yeah. I'm going to get our research department on this real quick, and I'll tell you exactly when it's coming out. Yeah, release date 12/8.
So it's out.
So it's out, and if you've got money for Christmas,
you got Christmas money.
I can't imagine anything else that you could, you would want to spend your money on.
There have been at least 5 times where I had Knights of the Old Republic, the digital game on the Switch store, in my cart, like, ready to buy it. And I was like, no, I don't have time for it.
Aren't you glad that you didn't do
I am glad, because now I can have a physical copy.
You get a physical copy, and you get 6 other games with it.
Yes.
Now, going back to that, like, we're talking about, excuse me, we're talking about KOTOR a lot here, but Force Unleashed, like, you want to talk about a really fun game.
I never played it.
Oh,
it's going to be brand new to me.
Oh, man, it's actually really good.
In fact, let me see.
I'm actually a little disappointed that Force Unleashed 2 isn't on there, but I understand why it's probably not. But
I think...
Why is that?
It just wasn't as good. It wasn't quite the same, but, like...
Now, I remember when Force Unleashed came out, that was, like, major hype at GameStop.
Oh, yeah. No, it was super hyped up, but...
I only played 3 of those games.
Yeah,
4 of the 7 are going to be brand new to me.
Same. Well, I've played Star Wars Racer, but not, like, extensively. I have a copy of it for the N64, at least one. So I've played Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. I've played Force Unleashed, and kind of Racer, but not really. So yeah, I mean, I actually own Jedi Academy 1 and 2, and I don't think I have Republic Commander, but I have Jedi Knight Academy 1 and 2 on Steam. I got them on, like, a May the 4th be with you sale.
Sale, yeah.
You know, for like 30 cents or something ridiculous. So
Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 and Racer are the only ones I've played.
Yeah, like, so, I mean, for...
My brother and I played so much Racer. I think we, like, had unlocked every...
Yeah, I did not play that
combo.
one.
We played it so much. It's a fun game.
So it's $60 for 7 games. 2 of them absolute classics.
Love it.
Well, some people have some problems with KOTOR 2 and the fact that it basically is unfinished as far as the story is concerned. But again, something that we can talk about at a later date.
I'd say this is worth the price of admission.
Yeah, absolutely. So
after we all buy it, we can talk about
Yeah.
KOTOR 2 and our thoughts on it.
Absolutely.
We're going to have to figure out the order of gameplay.
Yeah, we'll have to. Well, each of us can take a different game.
Different one.
And we'll each talk about it, and So I've definitely never played Commander,
Nope.
but that's one of those that, like, came out when I was like, man, there's, like, too much Star Wars stuff. Like,
that's what happened to me. I was like, all right, we're overdoing it a little bit here.
Yeah,
Let's
and-
just calm down.
if only we had known where Disney was gonna take it.
Disney said, hold my beer. I'll show you about overdoing it with Star Wars.
How much Star Wars can we force down their throats and they'll still give us money?
Oh, the sweet, sweet days of Star Wars Battlefront.
Oh my god. Why isn't that on here? Battlefront 1 and 2, like the original Battlefront.
Wager a guess? Probably multiplayer. That's probably why.
Yeah, that was my first thought, was like the multiplayer would cause problems.
I would love to have that game, those games again. Like, I didn't even play that game multiplayer, except for split screen. And like,
which had a really solid split screen experience.
Yeah, it was a great split screen, but I played that game like forever.
That was another one I put a lot of hours into on the Dreamcast next door.
Did they have that on Dreamcast?
I think so.
I think that was a PS2 game.
It might have been on PS2. I don't know.
But
he was a good friend.
Yeah. Anyway, so lots of remasters going on. We're running a little long, but I do want to talk about, just briefly here, our kind of plans for season 3 and what we're talking about what we're moving forward with, are hoping to. We'll see how it goes in the first few months, I think. But kind of the hope, and this episode has been kind of more what we're aiming for. I think, honestly,
done it accidentally on this episode.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do, hopefully moving forward, is be releasing 2 episodes a month. One where we talk about our video game experience and what we're playing and how that's going and what we think about the game. And so that'll be kind of our standard format where we kind of keep talking game stuff and keep it on on us. And but then another episode at the end of the month that is going to be more video game news related and kind of the news of the month.
Headlines.
Yeah, that we've gotten thus far in the month. So I'm excited about it. So for January, we will only be releasing 1 episode, and it will be the news episode. So we'll talk about kind of the games that have the video game news in January, and then February we'll come out with in the middle of the month sometime, probably like the second week of February, into the second week in February, we'll come out with our game review and what we've been playing, and then continue on from there. And like I said, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But I think that I'm excited about that expansion back to multiple episodes in a month. And in doing so, our format might shrink back down a little bit to a little bit shorter episodes. We'll see. Again, it just depends on how things kind of play out. But if you guys have any thoughts on that or anything that you want to say in that regard, feel free.
I think it'll be fun to talk about like the news and headlines and stuff, because we sometimes kind of can't do that just because we're trying to get to the games that we played and sort of give our review and stuff like that. But there's just so much going on with video games, and there's so many games being released and announced, and we sometimes miss some of the bigger stuff, if you will. Yeah. So I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, anything else for the good of the whole, gentlemen? No? You're good? All right. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast. Thank you for getting us through season 2, and we're excited about the future with season 3. If you've been listening to us, if you like hearing what we have to say, please like, subscribe, review, follow, do all
the things.
Do them all. Because we'd love to hear from you. Like, I say this all the time, and no one ever takes me up on it, and I'm terribly disappointed. But if you've got games that you think we should play or think we should review, please let us know. We'd love to talk about them. And moving forward, we'll be having some more fun, I think. And we will catch you all next time on the next episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast. Bye.